October 4th, 2020. Biggest zoo closure ever and little video evidence. Brian from ThinkFactory was there filming for the show we are pitching, but I wanted footage that we owned outright, so Howie found this local guy, but he turned out to be a bit of a pussy and didn't get much. He updated us just now saying, "Here's where we are as of Sunday, 10/4/2020. I arrived at the zoo on Friday, 10/2/2020 at 11:30 a.m. I met with Brian and Bill, and we were unable to enter due to Jeff Lowe and company still working at the zoo. Per your and my conversation that morning, I stuck around and observed and did manage to take a good still of a white tiger in a rolling cage outside the zoo in the parking lot. Right away, the staff saw me and blocked my view of their activity with cars and a large truck. I would drive up and down the road outside the zoo in an attempt to see anything and was unable. At one point, I was followed by a man in a gray car onto I-35 North. After this, I headed back to my house. I felt uncomfortable, not knowing what these people are capable of. I arrived back at the zoo the next day, Saturday, 10/3/2020, and met with Brian and Bill. Bill asked both Brian and me not to shoot with our cameras in the zoo because Jeff Lowe and staff were still in the process of loading animals. Bill explained that cameras could cause stress on the situation and provocate Lowe and staff. He told us we could walk around the park and look and take photos or videos with our phones. We walked the park and I did take a few photos, but was also hoping to use my camera to get video. After a few hours, I ended up walking through the zoo and shooting video. I shot handheld and got broad strokes. I did capture some details as I thought needed to be shot, but focus on every detail in the zoo would take, in my estimation, several long days, especially if the shots were taken using a tripod. The place is vast and a labyrinth of sorts. I can't express enough how trashed the place is, both intentionally and also through a total lack of respect, care, and work ethic on Lowe's part. It's disgusting and demoralizing to walk the grounds. Once Lowe was gone, I was told there were 3 cats left. I only saw 2. I did see all of the wolves, bears, and pigs. No animal I saw, once Jeff Lowe left, seemed in pain or in any other way harmed. Other than the neglect, damage, and vandalism I observed throughout the zoo, there was one thing I saw that had me really wondering. I was on the very back end of the zoo and discovered a small burn pile that contained charred bones and pieces of wood. There was an obvious section of vertebrae and other bones partially charred. I did shoot video of this. After shooting around the park, I met again with Brian and Bill in the gift shop. Then the call with you began. After that, I needed to get home. I had plans last night with my son, who was home from college. Other than the photos I got with my phone on Saturday, I did not take any stills with my professional camera. I have video from my walk around yesterday afternoon and a small bit from Friday of Jeff Lowe in the parking lot, plus some phone video of your call with Bill yesterday. There was an abundance of waiting due to Jeff Lowe's presence. There was no, quote, transfer, unquote, of the zoo involving the sheriff that I am aware of. I did see the sheriff there, but he only stayed briefly and then left. As far as I am aware, Brian didn't film any scene with the sheriff vacating Lowe and company from the zoo, or serving them with any documentation. All told, I spent 8 hours at the zoo between Friday and Saturday. About 2 hours of that was shooting. I also spent additional time Sunday morning going through the footage, transferring all the files onto a drive, and organizing the media. I also have my mileage to and from the zoo both days. I have the media on a flash drive and can ship to you this week. I'm not going to sign his name to it. He did here. And then this is from me. We spoke with Kelly Hurt last night, and he wants to tear down the cages and film that. So maybe we will get something watch-worthy from all of this. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.